Hi, this is Andrew McKnight from Lincoln, Virginia, and you are in the music room, and I'm delighted to be here with you. All of my years I've lived here. It's the only way I know. Run the family farm with the grace of God above and fertile soil below. Summer's gone, 11 weeks of searing storm. Let's choke $50,000 worth of dreams going up in smoke. Sacrificed another field today to keep the others growing. Had to sell my milking cows to keep the bankers going away. That line of clouds across the sky might bring the winds of death, the raindrops to my eyes. My wife, she's out there dancing in her checkered kitchen dress, trumpets running down her brow, and her blonde hair's getting messed. Iowa can be a place where fertile famines drink. This year just poured life down from the brink, and I'm dancing in the rain. Before today my luck had gone, a hard left toward the worst, enough to make an honest man think a farmer's life is cursed. Remembering tales on my granddad's knees of soil that sprouted wing. It's taken 30 years for me to appreciate these things. My wife, she's out there dancing in her checkered kitchen dress, trumpets running down her brow, and her blonde hair's getting messed. Iowa can be a place where fertile famines drink. This year just poured life down from the brink, and I'm dancing in the rain. Heard it on the radio, Dakota wheat fields won't survive. Cousin Jack up there will find some way to stay alive. Mother Nature's fickle ways might someday do me in, for I'm on my knees in gratitude, 'cause it's raining. Next year we might stare at this same mess right in the face. This old White House and apple trees keep me fighting for this place, facing up to troubles that my children might not know. When you keep your generations on the farm all in a row. My wife, she's out there dancing in her checkered kitchen dress, trumpets running down her brow, and her blonde hair's getting messed. Iowa can be a place where fertile famines drink. This year just poured life down from the brink, and Thank you.
Well, welcome back, Andrew. Finally got you back in here.
Thank you. It's a delight to be back.
I've decided that I have a new nickname for you.
Oh, my goodness.
We're going to call you the Snowbird Songwriter.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Because you come south when it hits January. Get away from the snow and the cold. And
Can you insert the word smart in there somewhere?
Now, you live in Virginia. How high up?
I'm right at the foot of the Blue Ridge, only about 500 feet. And the Blue Ridge is pretty low elevation where I'm at. It's about 1,500 feet as it's coming along into Harper's Ferry where the Potomac and the Shenandoah cut through it. And Shenandoah's been running along the western flank of it looking for a way to the sea for about 105 miles at that point, but it's a lot higher down farther south.
the most beautiful falls
Oh, yeah.
on the face of the planet.
In the first year of our endeavor of doing this, you had the great Sean Kelly with you. What fun that was. And you've been here 3 other times. This is your 4th time. That's rare air for us. And, says a lot for you, too, because you've always brought us great music and a great vibe. And
thank you.
I love the opening song. I thought it was a great song.
Thank you. You know, that's one off of my very first CD. And every time I've come here, I've had a new CD in hand and new songs and all of that. And I've got new stuff, too. But this time around, I thought, it'd be kind of fun to play a couple of songs off of those early records and let people hear some of that.
Would you do another one of your older ones that we wouldn't have heard, would you?
Yeah, sure. Whenever I sit down to do a show like this where we're talking and stuff, I always like to kind of leave the set list a little bit open. So how about a waltz? Because that's one thing.
You can't be any more open than you left this one. Okay.
Yeah, what are you going to play tonight? I don't know. I'll let you know afterwards, though. I'll give them to you all in the right order and everything.
That's flying by the seat of your pants.
That's kind of the way I work, way too much.
He's already dancing in the rain, now he's flying by the seat of his pants.
There you go.
There you go. Write that down. So one thing that Texas and Virginia share in common is the love of a good waltz. I don't know if this is a good one, but this is one from my second CD, Where This River Runs. And I've always said that a good songwriter sometimes just has to be smart enough to pick up what's laying on the ground in front of them and simply turn it into song. And that's kind of how this one goes. I don't think so much anymore about the elderly couple that inspired it a lot of years ago. I was driving the gravel road down along the Shenandoah River and just happened to catch them walking hand in hand out in their yard. I guess I more think about what it must have been like when they were kids, living in their own hard times, the Great Depression and World War II and all. And yet somehow finding a way, like young lovers always do, to do the things that young lovers do. I guess I'd imagine them sneaking outside of the Saturday night dance, stealing a kiss under a Shenandoah moon. It was a summer of 30 in that broad river valley where 2 kids fell right into love. Sarah Jean's dad's bank failed, James' farm went for sale, but those kids found good in hard times. The dance at the Grange Hall when they heard the band call a Virginia waltz lilting tune, slipped into the night air to shadows without care, bathed in the light of a Shenandoah moon. In 42 the Great War came. James signed up his name to stare in hell's face on the line. While the lovers were apart, he broke his purple heart and came home the shell of a man. Sarah Jean had healing hands. Out on the porch swing, two lovers' hands holding. That river she sings under a Shenandoah moon. 3 children later and 8 grandkids greater. It's funny how time flows on by. Survive the tornado and all the hardship they'd known. In 50 years, how strong love had grown. On Sarah Jean's deathbed, no tears, smiles instead. By morning she'd see James again. Like corn in July heat, each taste so sweet. But all good things meet their earthly end. And that band of angels plays an old Virginia waltz while 2 kids twirl through eternity. Through heavenly meadows, a gentle river flows, and 2 smiling faces shine from a Shenandoah moon. A Shenandoah moon.
Very pretty.
Thank you.
If I'm not mistaken, when we first met you, your wife was expecting
Yep.
your daughter, who is now, what, 6.5?
6.5.
Wow,
I
time
know.
flies.
I know.
Well, give us an update on the fam.
Okay. Well, I'm going to switch instruments then, too, because it kind of ties into the story a little bit.
Okay.
So,
You having a story?
oh, I know. I passed the okay, we'll let you be a parent exam on the last try. I was about to give up in complete discouragement. And I have to say that the thought of being the responsible adult in the room is still somewhat frightening to me, but that's just the way it's kind of going. So my daughter is just she leads a most interesting life, I have to say. Life is good. We bought a house a few years ago, and it's on a gravel road just outside an old village founded by Quakers back in the 1740s. And yet, even in our fast-growing county, the western part is still rural enough that the village schools are still in use. And so we actually walk to school together every morning and walk home after school every day. And she comments on all manner of things and knows all the neighbors and observes this and observes that. And she carries her violin to school on Thursdays so she can take her violin
Good.
lessons.
So she's
and
musical.
she's musical. Oh yeah,
Yay.
yeah. And she would like to go to sleep with CDs on, and she's listened to all of my records. She knows all of the songs and all the words, and will tell me if I blew one. But I have to say I'm kind of happy to have been supplanted recently by the Sound of Music, the original Sound of Music, and she's just been all over that. And I think she's going to be a pretty good singer. It's kind of fun to see it all happen. But the part about the mandolin is, daycare for kids is expensive. When it was offered to me that I could exchange writing checks for tens of thousands of dollars in order to play music for little people a couple hours a week, needless to say, I jumped at the chance. Problem is, I'm not particularly fit for that job either. I have no skills, no training. And so the first day I went in there with my guitar and I managed to sing the ABC song and a couple of other things, and that went all right. And I was like, oh, I can do this, And by about the third week, I'm walking in there thinking, there are some perks to this job. And I have to say, it's a bit of a confession, too, because I realize that these little people, ranging in 18 months on up to about 5 years, do not care if you're good at playing your instrument. They don't even really care if you know how to play the instrument, hardly at all. What they care about is that you can sing "The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round," and then you're one of their people. It's like we're in, we're tight. Us, we're in, man. Oh, McDonald's, all good, man. So I hatched this ruthless, grinchy grin kind of plot that I could actually learn how to play a bunch of different instruments and on-the-job training, and they would never know, and it turned out to be true. So hence the mandolin and all these other things that I now dabble at enough to play them in front of grown-ups every once in a while. But with the kindergarten kids, they can do more stuff. So I write songs with the kindergarten kids. And so last year's kindergarten class wanted to write a song for Valentine's Day. And all I could think about was that I'd stayed up too late the night before and I'd seen this Victoria's Secret commercial. And I'm thinking, I can't do this, man. I can't do this. I have not got this at all. And of course, this little light bulb popped onto my head and said, let them write the words. Oh, yes, that's right. So really, your job with kindergarten kids is to just keep them from, minimize the amount of bodily functions that wind up finding their way into the song, and you've done a pretty good job. So this is actually a song written by kindergarten kids, my daughter included, for Valentine's Day, and it's simple enough that if you're not singing along with it by the end, you haven't been paying attention. I guess this one's for the kindergarten kids back home in Virginia. Everybody needs to give a little love. Everybody needs to get a little love. Everybody wants to have a little love that makes the world go round. Seems simple enough, doesn't it? All the little babies need a little love. All the kindergarten need a little love. All of the big kids need a little love that makes the world go round. Everybody needs to give a little love. Everybody needs to get a little love. Everybody wants to have a little love that makes the world go round. All right. All of the parents need a little love. All the grandparents need a little love. All of the animals need a little love that makes the world go round. Everybody needs to give a little love. Everybody needs to get a little love. Everybody wants to have a little love that makes the world go round. Everybody needs to give a little love. Everybody needs to get a little love. Everybody wants to have a little love that makes the world go round. Everybody needs to give a little love. Everybody needs to get a little love. Everybody wants to have a little love that makes the world go round. Yeah. And thanks for singing.
And what did they decide they were going to name that song?
The Love Song.
The Love
Song.
All right.
We always have so much fun having conversations with these, don't we?
Yeah, Reno's rolling his eyes over there. I already know what he's doing.
Reno's a good man. I don't know if anybody has said that on the air on one of these podcasts and him not edit it out, but I will say it. Reno's a good man for putting up with all this nonsense.
He
Reno,
didn't do the
thank you.
editing. I do. It'll
That's
stay.
And Reno, because he has become a busy young man, occasionally can't make it down here to do our engineering. So we have Larry Green.
Hello, Larry.
Is
Yeah,
here
he's
tonight,
too.
and he is also doing a lot of our engineering for us as well.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice.
We're just one big happy family.
That's the way it should be. A community based around music.
That's
There you
right.
go.
A safe house on the folk music underground railroad is how I tend to think of them.
So
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question about the area you live in, because for somebody that's a history buff like me, it's fascinating to be right in the cradle of the Confederacy, as well as you're not that far from Gettysburg either.
No,
So you're there where all this took place, and over the years, And the 4 shows that we've done, it affects your writing.
Oh yeah, absolutely, in multiple ways. Yeah, I mean, there's pages.
So, were you a part of? Is your philosophy a good toward the War of Northern Aggression, or is it?
Let's put it this way. That's but some of the pages from one of the chapters that are buried in the red clay all around home.
There you go.
If you start thinking about how much history we've been witness to, I mean, it's been 400 years plus since Jamestown was founded. And that was 250 years before the war between the states. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of history sitting there. We actually...
and I'm glad you called it that, because it really wasn't a civil war. You're exactly right.
There wasn't anything civil about it. That's for sure. Ask the people who got burned out of their homes in the Shenandoah Valley, or the people who got wounded, and what Civil War medicine was like. You know, always falling along in 2 steps behind the machinations that kill people. We got a chance to go to Mount Vernon for the first time this year. It was really splendid.
Incredible.
Oh my goodness. George Washington picked himself a spot there. But, you know, I think I'm as much influenced by the musical history as anything, too, because it's ever present. You know, I think it's one of the fantastic things about living where I do is that there are so many young kids who grow up playing these traditional tunes, the old-timey tunes. You know, some of them play it in a bluegrass way, some of them play them in a more Americana way, some people play real hardcore old-time Appalachian. But both of our local high schools have bluegrass clubs. And we have bands that kind of come up through the ranks, and then they start playing at the Watermelon Park Festival, which is kind of a big bluegrass festival near to home. And being a part of something where that tradition is still so revered is really pretty cool to me. My bandmate, Les Thompson, was one of the original Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, and he left the band after they made the Will the Circle Be Unbroken album. And I got a chance to see, talking about the bluegrass clubs and all of that, it's been 40 years since Will the Circle Be Unbroken came out. And John McEwen came to town, and
He's been here.
And he and Les and John Carter Cash and a couple of other people did a concert, special one-off concert, celebrating the Circle album. They had pictures, they had audio clips. Merle Travis meeting Doc Watson for the first time. Mother Maybelle Carter talking about, you know, let's play this tune in F for the auto harp and stuff. I mean, it's fantastic. To me, you know, so much of our musical tradition is keeping the circle unbroken. But what it means to me is to turn around and hand down the things that have been handed to me as a musician. When I was growing up, a lot of guitar players and my dad's band and circle of friends would take time to show me stuff, and they treated me with, like, adult kind of respect, even though I could hardly play A, D, and G out of tune, you know? So the song is a sort of my way of keeping the circle unbroken. It's part fact, part fiction, and a big blurry line between. It's called Guitar Man. A man rolled into town one day in a beat-up Chevrolet. Said, my name is Luther Jones and I came here to play. He pulled a case out of his trunk and tuned up where he sat. And while he sang, his fingers danced like fireworks on the frets, 'cause he's a guitar man. Wood and steel strings ringing, guitar man. Love that song you're singing, guitar man. I wanna know what you know. Would you play us one more tune before it's time to go? Fingers style the cannonball, then flat-picked soldier's joy. Slid from Robert Johnson's blues right into a red-haired boy. A crowd of people gathered round, the bills filled up his case. And now and then he'd nod his thanks, a smile upon his face, 'cause he's a guitar man. Wood and steel strings ringing, guitar man. Love that song you're singing, guitar man. I wanna know what you know. Would you play us one more tune before it's time to go? Martin's kept me company almost 1,000,000 miles. From town to town and stage to stage, kept going by your smiles. But times are tough all over, yet somehow we still get by. So check your troubles at the door, 'cause now it's time to fly like that guitar man. Wooden steel strings ringing, guitar man. Love that song you're singing, guitar man. I wanna know what you know. Would you play us one more tune before it's time to go? Hey, guitar man. Wooden steel strings ringing, guitar man. Love that song you're singing, guitar man. I wanna know what you know. Would you play us one more tune before it's time to go?
Thank you.
So do tell us a little bit about your new album.
I have a new DVD in the works, actually.
Wow.
And it's from the last Texas tour. We filmed a concert at the Austin Acoustical Cafe, 3-camera shoot, solo show, me and an enthusiastic Austin audience, and it's just getting finished now. By the time this is up and running, it'll probably be... You can actually already download the audio of it at my website. Rather than put it on a CD, I thought, let's just make the audio part available as a download, and people can go and pay whatever they want for that, and thank you for doing so. But it's the first time that I've recorded a show with all the stories in between the songs and all of the shenanigans that go along with a typical Andrew McKnight solo show. And the DVD is called Live from the Appalachians to Austin. You can check it out at andrewmcknight.net. It's a very limited edition. We really intended the DVD to be more of a promo piece, and there's just been a lot of people who say, I'd like to get a copy of that. So you can get the audio download if you want, or you can get the whole shebang, and I'd be grateful to have people have it. And it's got songs from all of the solo CDs, plus a couple of new things too,
as well as writing songs and performing songs. That part of the industry, you're also involved in seminars and teaching. So tell us about that part of your life.
I read lots of stuff. I love my instrument first and foremost, and so I'm always passionate about learning new stuff about the guitar. And I also learn a lot of stuff about the songwriting process too, but I've collected some good wisdom along the way. And one thing that really sticks with me is that to be good at being a performer or being good as a teacher, you really need to do 3 things. You need to create. You need to be out and doing things, actively doing things, making things. You need to learn things, and you need to teach. And those 3 things aren't separate, distinct bubbles. They're constantly in motion. It's like every time I teach, even when I'm teaching a beginner guitar student, I learn something new. I learn something new about how the fingers work and how the brain works, and getting the brain out of the way of the fingers and the fretboard and all of that stuff too. And yet I find that sort of triangle is really a rich thing for me. And so all of the things that I've done to somehow carve a livelihood out of this life in music are things that people are interested in. And so I'm happy to write about them. I'm happy to teach about them. I do, lead workshops and seminars every now and again. And I find that I always learn something from those too, but that the fact that a lot of times it's understanding what your gifts are and how they affect people, and then how to share those things in a kind of positive way. We all have different gifts, right? As songwriters, nobody sees the world through this set of eyes but me, and everyone in this room can say the same thing. I think it's kind of cool to go into it with that create, teach, learn sort of mentality always at work.
Plus another one of your new songs, would you?
Okay. This thing that I do seems to be called folk music, for lack of a better word. Some songs I don't want to write. I don't want to write them. I don't want to have to write them. I wish that I didn't have to write them. But one thing that's really been on my mind a lot, since Newtown and since the Navy Yard and since everything, is like, we just got to find some way to solve some of these things. And I'm not going to tell anybody what to do about anything, but boy, we really need to sit down, hold each other's hands, and have a conversation. This is called simply, I've Had Enough.
The ticker streams across the big screen. Somewhere someone lost their head when they dove right off the deep end. It took 10 people with them when they went. Each one went to work this morning, hugged their spouses, kissed their kids, never knowing they'd become targets. And we watch and wonder why they ever did. And I've had enough tragedy taking aim at you and me. Tear down these walls of labels that we've made. And I've had enough tears and pain. Can't we find another way? Who's gonna be the one to say, and I've had enough? Whoa, whoa, and I've had enough. Whoa, whoa. The blue grove ale makes it too easy to write off those who aren't like me. Strip away what makes them human in the chat rooms filled with gasoline. There's someone else there on the outside with desperate hatred in their eyes. Long ago that fire started, and it's too late for us to recognize. And I've had enough tragedy taking aim at you and me. Tear down these walls of labels that we've made. And I've had enough tears and pain. Can't we find another way? Who's gonna be the one to say, and I've had enough? Whoa, whoa, you can sing it with me. And I've had enough. Whoa, whoa. Some say more guns are what is needed, and others say lock up the ill. For I don't claim to have the answers, but I know that kindness rarely kills. And I've had enough of tragedy taking aim at you and me. Tear down these walls of labels that we made. And I've had enough of tears and pain.
and I've had enough.
Whoa, whoa, and I've had enough. Whoa, whoa, and I've had enough. Whoa, whoa, and I've had enough. Whoa, whoa, and I've had enough.
I really like that song, Andrew.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
Very nice. You have a beautiful guitar. Tell us about that Martin you've got there.
You know, I have grown so fond of this guitar over the last 20-odd years. This is an MC68, and if you look it up on the Martin website, you'll see they made 165 of them between 1985 and 95. And I have to say, this tour is the first tour since I got it back from getting the neck reset. I mean, a lot of wear on it, and what had happened was the action was nice down low, and I had this big hump up here, and I couldn't play jazzy chords or anything, and now it's nice and smooth, and I'm having a ball.
That's the first time I've seen the inlay on the headstock like that.
They do make other models that have that. I guess it's not as common as I thought it was. You know, you're used to seeing the Martin logo on the... And maybe it's because it's a lighter wood. On the darker wood ones, they seem to have the script, and maybe because this is a maple cutaway for all of you listening who can't see it. It's and it's got an oval sound hole, which is really odd,
Gene
too.
and Barbara got a picture of it, I bet.
Good. All right.
Mine too.
That's fine. So it's really seasoned up quite nicely.
I know when I heard it the first time, I told you it has really a lot of punch and a ring to it. Those of you that are hearing this on the internet, it's a room guitar too. It's not just a recording guitar.
It's warm.
What would you say, if you could narrow songwriting down to its simplicity, what do you think is the secret of songwriting or writing a good song?
Don't turn the valve off. Seriously. I mean, the idea is, I have to say my favorite songwriting tool these last couple of years has been my iPhone, not because of all the digital wizardry, but because I can just simply record myself anytime I want. I get an idea for a song driving down the highway, and I just turn on a voice memo and sing to it, and it's like, okay, I hear a D chord here, A chord here, B minor chord. In fact, that last song I wrote completely on the iPhone over a course of a couple of days, you know, of dictating lines and fixing lines and editing lines, and then I'd fuss with it a little bit, and I'd sing it a little bit more, and it's like, oh, I'm changing the melody here. So I've got 10 voice memos of that song developing from the first seeds to actually being close to finished. And I use Evernote a lot to just dictate lyrics and stuff, because if I have it on the phone, then I go home, it's on my home computer, it's on my laptop. The idea is that I am free to, any idea that I get, I don't have to lose it. And it's only my own laziness that gets stuff not, remembered. So the biggest thing is to let it flow and capture it. And the work can be done later on, but the ideas may or may not revisit,
Are you one of those who gets up and makes yourself write every day?
No.
See, I
I'm as disciplined as a cat.
You write when you have the urge, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I think of the great songwriters.
That thing about working for yourself and being anxious about paying the mortgage every month and all of that stuff, you tend to think to yourself, I got to be booking shows for the next tour and all that, and you don't give the art the time that you did when it got you started.
Or I got to fix the website, or I've got to do this.
There's always
got to
something.
find somebody who needs something to do to book for you, and then you can just,
If you're hearing that and you're interested, you can write to me at andrewmcknight.net.
Or just yell real loud.
Yeah, exactly.
Your first time here, you did a song called How High Is This Mountain?
And you'd like to hear it?
I've never forgot that song. If you feel like playing
sure.
it, would be an honor.
Absolutely. I've played a couple of new things. I've played a couple of things off my old CDs. This one is kind of fun because we recorded it one way on Beyond Borders, and then when my band came together years after that, that's called Beyond Borders, and we did our One Virginia Night CD and DVD last year. We recorded our version of it, which is a fair bit different than the original. So the solo version is kind of somewhere in between.
How high is this mountain that I've fallen down? How far have I tumbled to be here? And how long must I climb to see sweet sun again? Out of this valley of despair. Mountain that have fallen down. How far have I tumbled to be here? How long must I climb to see sweet sun again? Out of this valley of despair. And how heavy is the cross that I am bound to bear? How long an uphill march lies ahead? And how will I keep my heart turning to stone, lift my face to the light instead? And how high is this mountain that I've fallen down? How far have I tumbled to be here? How long must I climb to see sweet sun again? Out of this valley of despair. I roam to find the promised land? How many miles more to Calvary? How many lonesome nights till I find that star? Set my course straight and true again. And how high is this mountain that I've fallen down? How far have I tumbled to be here? Sun again, out of this valley of despair, out of this valley of despair.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So let's do a little lightning round. Tell people a little bit about you just from quick responses. Favorite car you've ever owned?
Well,
there's
two
responses.
There's two answers to that question. One is the one that's out there in the parking lot that's gotten me safely everywhere that I'm going and will continue to do so. I don't want to bust my karma now.
There we go.
No pun intended. Now, if you're asking me my favorite historical car, it would have to be my 1974 Dodge Dart with a 318 in it. That was aqua-colored and very cool, and I missed that car.
Favorite TV program of all time?
Either the Three Stooges or Sanford and Son.
Okay, we'll
That tells you a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
What's your favorite solo artist of all time? Musical.
Paul McCartney.
Favorite artist, painter?
My daughter.
Even better. Well, that'll keep peace in the valley.
I just love. I have no talent for visual arts, and the fact that she paints things so freely and makes them, and I mean, I probably did that when I was a kid too, but to me, it's just, I'm glad that I'm a little bit older as a parent because I sure appreciate it now. Oh my goodness.
What's your favorite movie?
The original Star Wars.
It was a good one, wasn't it?
And the Muppet movie. Those two.
Could you look back on one song that would really turned you to where you said, I want to do this?
As a singer-songwriter or as a starting out musician?
Either or both.
As a singer-songwriter, there were two songs that really hit me hard when I was in grad school. One was John Gorka's Houses in the Fields. The other was Sean Colvin singing Shotgun Down the Avalanche live and solo. And I thought, you know, people listen to you play guitar and sing songs you wrote, and you can play guitar doing it. I like that. If you were asking me what made me want to play music, man, I heard so much music in my house. It's like I don't remember ever a time that I didn't want to be part of it, you know? It's like I remember the bands in the basement working on Beatles harmonies or Crosby, Stills and Nash or the Doobie Brothers or the Allman Brothers. I mean, just so much great music that's just infused into my bones, I think.
And it all comes out in your music. Do another song for us, Drew.
Sure. Can I do something totally different?
Do whatever you want to do.
How about something jazzy?
Yeah.
Is that all right? My dad loves jazz.
Have we had that resonator yet?
We have not had the resonator yet.
Okay.
We'll get that in there somewhere, too. This is...
So we're down to 2.
Okay.
Maybe 3 if we shut up.
I'm just going to shut up and play my guitar. Telephone rings, Pulse picks up the beat. Got no explanation for my rising body heat. Guess I'm just expecting bad news. My least favorite words are "we gotta talk." They're usually followed by a long and lonesome walk, 'cause I'm expecting bad news. When the mailman comes, let the dog run loose. I won't shoot the messenger, but delivery refused. Call me irrational, but I won't lie to you, 'cause I'm expecting bad news. All right, Fido, do your thing. So if you've got issues, I don't wanna know. And here's some advice for you: just pack them up and go. You can keep those letters coming. Call me if you choose. Keep your secrets if you're bearing bad news. And I just can't take no more bed. And I guess you probably know what I'm talking about, because you're glued to your TV set watching on CNN the same way I am every night too. Woo! News. And that's the state state court of Texas right there. Thank you.
Drew, I really like that. That's real different for you.
She leaned over and said, "I want to do."
Yeah,
that
I need your
Nice.
permission to be able to perform.
I
that
want
song
you to
if
do
I
that
want.
song.
Can I?
I think you would do a nice
love
job of that
to.
song.
I would love to do that.
I would be happy for that. It
Cool.
would make me happy.
Okay, well, we'll make you happy. I just wanted to say thank you for coming back, and I hope you continue to come back and be a part of our musical life from here on out.
Get treated like royalty every time I come here. Why wouldn't I come back? Thanks to everybody for being here.
We got a nice studio audience tonight, too.
A wonderful
Yeah.
studio audience. Reno, how you doing, buddy? I had this idea when I was recording something worth standing for to fish around through my CD collection looking for inspiration and looking for music by people who'd gone on to become icons of their own difficult times, the Carter family, Woody Guthrie and all that. And I wasn't really itching to write a song about whiskey and women and the dangers and joys of mixing them in different proportions, but my Robert Johnson CD wound up getting into my ears anyway. I wound up writing a whole batch of new words and a new melody, and it became a whole new song, and it was a perfect way to close that album. But it also seems like all the credit should go to Robert Johnson. Came to a crossroad, no sign marks the way. Came to a crossroad, no sign marks the way. And there's great darkness gathering, I know I can't stay. We stand at a crossroad, don't know where to turn. Stand at a crossroad, don't know where to turn. Feel the heat at my back while our house burns. We're leaving this crossroad, mighty hill to climb. And we're leaving this crossroad, the mighty hill to climb. Set these burdens down, never look behind. Guess I just have to trust my soul. Thank you.
Not only can you find Drew on In the Music Room, but you can find him on andrewmcknight.net.
Woohoo! And of course, all your links will be on your page on In the Music
Yes,
Room.
they will.
So we'll make sure they get to you. Again, Andrew, I want to thank you for being here tonight. It's always special when you're here.
Thank you.
Also
Thank you for
want to
having
thank
me.
our studio audience tonight for taking time out of their busy lives to come and see you. Woohoo!
Amen
Reno,
for that.
Thank you so much for your engineering tonight. Gene and Barbara for your photography without you, golly, we wouldn't be able to capture this wonderful evening.
We'd be in 2 dimensions, and that would just be wrong.
And to you, our listening audience, I want to thank you. You are in the music room with Treadway and Friends.
Okay to take us out with one?
Yes, sir.
Been driving across those big, wide open Texas spaces today.
Susan Gibson already did that song.
Yeah, I'm afraid I can't lay claim to that. This one from my second CD that seems only fitting, though. It's called Big Sky Town. Prairie wind, rolling thunderheads, 80 miles of horizon straight from some damn book I read. Dakota fields blend to Montana skies, and this ribbon of asphalt stretching endless before my eyes. Making no exception to the rule that I have followed here. Nothing but the sun to guide my way there. Hope I find some gold behind this rainbow that I'm chasing down. It's where I'm bound, where I'm bound, where I'm bound. In this big sky town. Hearing laughter from ghosts of horse thieves and gold diggers, ringing in my ears, echoed 150 years. I'm moving forward, pushed or pulled her, I don't know. Am I soaring like the hawk, or steady like the crow? Making no exception to the rule that I have followed here. Nothing but the sun to guide my way there. Hope I find some gold behind this rainbow that I'm chasing down. It's where I'm bound, where I'm bound, where I'm bound. In this big sky. This rainbow that I'm chasing down. It's where I'm bound, where I'm bound, where I'm bound. In this big sky. Thank you so much.
And that's a wrap.